episode 40 of the Offside Podcast. We're here with the team, Junior, Tama, and Eliota. How are we, boys?
Good.
Great.
Good.
Just a big shout out to Tox Fale and Fale Kava again for supplying the goodness. You can reach the team out in Mangere Town Centre and Otahu at the Fale Dojo if you want to get some. And also just hop on at fale.cover and you'll find them on Instagram and Facebook for all your cover needs. Episode 40, big milestone. I thought probably just before we get deep into any reflections from the boys, how do you feel about the past couple of months on this pod? Oos?
Good start.
Good start. 40 episodes and we just started. Yes. I love it.
I mean, just got to keep going, and just be in it for the long run.
So, I've been away for past 2 weeks with work, and obviously a lot has happened since that. But I was wondering if you wanted to address anything that happened with the Manu Samoa celebration. I know last week on the pod I was listening and pretty much done with the situation, but the fallout of that is there's a lot of players like yourself that have come out and have probably gone to you more directly in the DMs, but we don't have to mention any names. I just thought like what are some of those conversations like? What's it like for you as a kind of like a receiver of all that information from some of your fellow players that have worn the jersey, their family members that have stepped in? What's that been like, Us?
No, it's been good. I got heaps of messages from former players, and not just former players. I was reading some stuff from the Aotearoa family, and the Aotearoa family weren't even invited.
Whoa.
Crazy, eh? So I was reading some stuff from Anne, and even a friend who told me that, and they actually made an Instagram post that they weren't invited at the time. So this wasn't after, but this was during. I was also reading, so Anne's a wife, right? And, she was saying that they had no idea about it. They weren't invited. But it just so happened that her brother-in-law was in Samoa at the time, so he could pick up their cap, because it's Peter Aotearoa and his son, Jeremiah, who's a really good dude as well. So he picked it up, and the Samoan Rugby Union told him that they will be coming to New Zealand to have a special ceremony for those who have missed out. But that's what they told him. But she was like, look, I don't trust them. Get our caps. I don't believe them. So, yeah. So lucky the brother-in-law was there on a totally different meeting. It had nothing to do with the rugby. So, but they had no idea. And Peter Aotearoa was, he's a legend. And at that time, he was like the Luai. He was that generation, the Tongan team. He was the player who could have chosen to go to the All Blacks. Yep. But he chose Manu Samoa and obviously went on to do great things with the 1991. And so I was reading that conversation. I got heaps of... I posted up a screenshot, one from a player. He asked not to mention his name, but to please share a story where his wife was pregnant at the time, but they had decided, look, this is a great opportunity to make Manu Samoa. You go and play for Manu Samoa. So he misses the birth of his child, and he's left off the list. And, he wrote how he just regrets it, and especially his wife, he feels for his wife who was going through the pregnancy without him. And to see his name not on the list was just a kick in the face. So I shared that on my page. There was heaps of stories, because there are a lot of players who have been missed out. And where we are at the moment is the Samoa Rugby Union have come out and apologized with their ChatGPT apology, and which means absolutely nothing, because a lot of dudes still don't have a number, still don't have a year, still don't have a cap, still don't have their name on the list. And so the only real remedy is, I don't care about apologies, who gives a fuck, just print the list properly. And what's funny is, like I said last week, there is a second list. They have a second list. And on that list is the World Rugby logo. So World Rugby have sent them a list with everything. It's got our names on it and the numbers, done perfectly. But they went and did a different one and gave it to Samoa Observer. So you can see the intention. It was deliberate, right? And so they give out the caps according to this new list that they've made. And now they acknowledge, oh, sorry, we made a mistake. So the remedy would be to, okay, give out caps according to the list that you got given, at the proper list. It's even on it's on what's that? Wikipedia. It's even there. Yeah, right. It's right there. It's got all the players and their numbers. But if you bring it, give out the caps according to that, you're gonna have to recall all the other caps because the numbers are different.
Yeah. You've miscounted.
So this is where we're at. So I was asking some of the boys who did get their caps, what's your number? And it's completely different to the number that has all of us on it. And so what are they going to do? So if they're going to honor all those players who are not on the list, then they have to tell those players who they've given the caps to either return it or those aren't your real caps because those aren't your real numbers. And they're not. Okay, so all those dudes who got caps, that's not your real numbers. Okay, so that's the only way to do it. You're going to have to tell them that their numbers are wrong and we'll do it again. Otherwise, we're not on the list. And yeah, it's so shit. I got a message from, I think, a granddaughter of a member in the 1976 team, Filippo Suchun, as well, and they had no idea about it. There's no acknowledgement. The 1976 team isn't even on it. And we spoke about it. 1976 team was a team that came to New Zealand, the first trip to New Zealand. And that was a team that were who got reported as the biggest hitters, and the first time Samoa was reported as being like unbelievable tacklers. So it's a legendary team, and they're not on the list. So it's just a mess, man. It's just a mess. And, you know, we talked about it before. Like, they had 100 years to prepare. They fucking still got it wrong. You know, it's just, fuck.
I think this, and when I hear you speak about a lot of the sacrifices and challenges of being a Manu Samoa player, like that's a given for you, but then you've also, you know, you've presented it as a challenge for other Samoan players. But when you take away the slightest thing, like a recognition, that must really hurt, for a lot of these guys. Yeah,
bro. Especially when you sacrifice for that. You know, it's a sacrifice that makes it, you know, like worth a lot. You know, anything in life, it's what you sacrifice to get there that gives it its value.
Yeah.
And when you don't get that recognition after all the sacrifice you did, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
And especially because we don't get anything else. It's not like a massive payday or a massive fucking enrichment, monetary, or sometimes, well, with this team, it's really you're just playing for the love,
the
passion. Yeah, you're doing it for Samoa because there's nothing else you get from it. It's not like we get £22,000 like England does for one game, or we get $15,000 New Zealand get for one game. We lose money. We got to pay our own flights to get there. Our contract gets cut for that period. So the only thing we really have is that moment, you know, that we played for Manu Samoa. That's it. And all these sacrifices and that are for that one thing we played for Manu Samoa. And then when you get a list, it's like, no, you didn't. You realize all that sacrifice is a fucking waste. It was all bullshit. It was all a lie. It's just lies, deception, and there's no honor in that as well. Like, where's the honor? It used to be a great thing to want to play for Manu Samoa. Now a lot of people are going to be like, but what if they do this to me? You know, because now you keep building up a track record of all the dumb, deceitful, lying shit that you're doing. And the best forecast of future behavior is past behavior. So they're probably going to do it again. They're probably going to do it again and again and again. So why would you sacrifice that now? Why would you choose Manu Samoa over the birth of your child now? You know, like no one would now. Fuck, I wouldn't even like the money wise as well. Like, I don't want to get my contract cut for this. What's in it for me?
It sucks. It sucks as fans too. And my only hope in this situation is that the families of those that represented Samoa, they will recognize, they will understand. But it is the kind of just that international recognition that they miss out on, which they truly, like all of you guys truly deserve that. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to say to the people that have messaged you directly here, if you had any messages for them, and we could probably just put this to rest, eh?
Yeah. No, I'll be writing a letter with the legal letterhead, because I don't give a fuck about the apology. It just has to be another list, and you just got to give the caps out properly. I don't give a fuck about your apology. It doesn't mean shit. They apologize all the time and do nothing. They're just full of shit. This is why I don't care what they said on the night. They're full of shit. So I'll be doing that. And like you said, like families, keep in touch and learn. Because I learned that we had a Manu Samoa player in our family the whole time, and I never knew that. So the second oldest living Manu Samoa player was actually lived with my dad in Christchurch. And so, yeah, I had no idea about that. And so I saw my dad right before last week's podcast. And then I was like, bro, you didn't tell me that. and he was like standing there and he was like, oh, that's right. I was like, fuck 40 years, bro. So, I mean, like...
that's why these lists are important.
Yeah, just realized, that's right. Yeah, he's still alive in Christchurch, but he's got mental issues because he's 90-something. So, yeah, so he wasn't invited. But, yeah, you just have to keep the old way. You just got to keep your stories and your history alive within your families. Tell your stories. And that was a good thing. It was a lot of grandchildren and great-grandchildren who were pissed off that their great-great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather had missed out. Like, they knew the history, and that's the way you got to go. And that shows how powerful the Manu Samoa is, like four generations later, they're still proud.
Yeah.
So, like you can't rely on the Samoan Rugby Union to record your history. You have to really, they're the fucking biggest Muppets, man. Like, you really gotta like screenshot Wikipedia, screenshot everything, keep your records alive, tell your bedtime stories of the time your grandfather played for the Manu and bumped off everyone. But we really gotta keep our own histories alive because. Bro, there's some Muppets out there with devious intentions, bro.
Put on Wikipedia. Yeah, give me that Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, bro.
Let me fix that up for you.
It's just like being left off the list, though. It's like you're worthless, like they don't give a fuck who you are. They just delete you like that. So, but my pride is not in how they treat me. So, keep telling your stories and tell it to your own generations and to your own families. Because a lot of great shit has come out from all of this, man.
I've been reading all the comments section and just all the people that have come forward. My great-grandfather played in this year, and I'm like,
damn, hard out. And like you can research that year as well. And some of them like sent photos of the program, of the 1976 program with their father's name, and the team was called Western Samoa. And it's man, it's so cool. So it's really cool to see how people still, connected with their generations and those who have passed and been there before us, and keep that going. Because, you can't rely on that. And we're seeing it with archaeology, and we're seeing it with these people who are coming out talking about our history and that. You can't rely on them because these are people from the outside making up shit. You got to have your own histories and pass down your own stories. So keep that going with the Manu Samoa as well.
Yeah.
Probably sounds like a business opportunity.
True.
Like
True.
What?
Oh, just to have an archive.
A museum, eh? Someone said, I read that idea.
I mean, if you have a sports
museum.
We don't have
like
a
sports museum
or
something similar.
Yeah.
It might be a chance to...
Yeah, so for us to do.
The ideas out in the world.
You're right.
Yeah, well, we'll await the letter and the results of that.
Don't expect too much. Those guys.
And then just on the other side in Samoa, currently we're going through Miss Samoa, which is happening right now. So you will receive this podcast on a Monday. We've recorded this on a Saturday, so we can only speak to the past week. So we don't know the full results. But we have been seeing a lot of great media on coverage on the women that are participating in the event. I always see this as like, it's just a really cool representation of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember in a pod probably last month, we talked about how much money they invested in Samoa, in Manu Samoa, but the lack of funds that they've put into the women here, and how much great representation they have just as one person. Like, it's not a big, massive kind of deal, but
it's massive now.
It's massive now.
Massive now.
But yeah, your thoughts so far on Miss Samoa.
Yep, it's good. But tonight is the Miss Samoa pageant, so there's going to be a lot of drama and controversy. There always is.
Yeah.
There always is. Because it's, especially now, man, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Vodafone is in there now, sponsoring. They got Miss World, Miss Universe. There's a Miss Universe Samoa group now. It's big now. It's really big. It means a lot. So there's a lot of money flying around now. And one thing that's been different in the last 2 years, well, maybe this year, is social media. Like, Moi Moana has used social media really well. Her partner is, I don't know what they're called. Video.
Content creator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's full on. And
who's her partner?
I don't know his name.
Let me Google.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers? Aaron something. Touch player. He was captain of the Samoan team, I think.
Oh, right.
But so her popularity is growing massively, especially with the content that she creates or that they create. And so that's what's happening now. And I see with with the contestants, there's a couple who have already brought out a lot of content over the last week or two and are using social media really well and their connections to CocoNet. And, you can see there's a lot of, it's already started. It started a week ago, and you can see that there are some contestants who have not mobilized social media at all, who've done nothing. And then you see the ones who know the power of social media, who have brought out like a clip every day. And
okay,
like you see that aspect. And well, tonight is a night. They started right now, so I don't know who wins. It's usually the talent and the interview. So it's not on the physical. Well, that's what they say. It's not about the looks. Physical stuff and the looks. It's if you win the talent and you win the interview, or if you win one of those and you give yourself a good chance. Especially with the last two, like Heilani came second in Miss Global, and Moi Moana is won Miss South Pacific, and everyone loves her. She did the Sivafi first time in the pageant. It's big, man. Like it's just huge now. There's massive investments. You see team from New South Wales, Hawaii, New Zealand, they go with an entourage of like 10 people, makeup, gown, all of that stuff. Louise Thompson did the gown for Miss New Zealand, and he's a legendary dressmaker as well. Seamstress, sorry if I don't get the right name.
Fashionista.
Yeah, so it's massive investment, and people invest their time and their hard work, and so that's why there's a really big demand for fairness, and everyone is on the edge and making sure that, it's seen to be fair, because, people do there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it.
It's kind of like a real sport, eh? I mean, it is competitive
full
in a sense,
on,
but
bro.
you're coming off a full team.
Yep.
And because you've had involvement previously. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And I know how hard they work. I appreciate it. And but when you see, I think Fale did well in Miss World, Heilani did well in Miss Global, and now this year is the first Miss Universe Samoa committee since it started, like in the 80s, I think. So there's a big push, man. It's massive opportunity to travel, to get paid, so it means a lot. It means a lot. So now it's scrutinized.
Even more.
Yeah, even more. So, which is good.
Yeah, well, we'll know the results next week, and we'll probably reflect on that a bit more on episode 41 of the podcast. On our next topic, I thought I'd pitch to the team an idea about ways we can improve tourism in Samoa. And so this is just a hypothetical chat. It's not actually gonna happen. It might spark some sort of conversation. But basically, we were just looking at other economic ways we could uplift Samoa's tourism, and we were going to pitch it to Ali and get his thoughts, because he's lived there and he can shut it down or he can up it. But yeah, should we start with me or should we go with Tama? I've got a simple idea I'll pitch, and then maybe they'll jumpstart the boys. And this might play off a bit of morality.
Oh
no, it's not even that bad.
R18 or what?
No, it's not that. I don't feel it's that bad. fuck, I don't know if I should say it. No, I'll say it. I thought if we could legalize marijuana in the Pacific, if we could take a section, a privatized section, and legalize it and make it a holiday spot for a lot of Australians and New Zealanders, they don't get to have that because a lot of us do. Well, a lot of Kiwis and Australians will travel to America or places like Amsterdam for it.
Yeah, yo. Yes.
I like this. When I say more, the moral kind of like, because it's been demonized by Western society for the longest time. Right. And I get it. It is a drug. You overuse it, you mess up.
It's a plant. It's a plant.
But that's what I mean. Like I think of it akin to like Kava, for example.
Right.
If you drink enough Kava, you're gonna be doing some mea valeas somewhere. I mean,
you'll probably be peeing your beard if you drink too much.
That's a mea valea.
Yeah, what kind of Kava are you drinking?
Toxus one.
Whoops, sorry to say that out loud.
No, but that's my pitch. I always thought like at least somewhere in the Pacific seen as your kind of holiday destination. Why not ramp it up a bit? And you know, I'm not asking for like big parties or anything, but a spot in the Pacific where you can smoke some weed and just enjoy the ocean. And that was kind of my pitch. But I don't know what the perception is like of marijuana in the Pacific. I know that in Tonga, they've got a massive meth kind of situation going on, which is really bad. I don't know what the drug scene is like in Samoa. And, you know, the other kind of flip side of that is like, from the medicinal standpoint, using, you know, oil and cannabis oil for healing properties as well. There's kind of a case to make there that it can
absolutely
kind of lead into health situations in Samoa. But thoughts about that, Us?
No, hard. We've been we used to push that a lot. Yeah. The legalization of marijuana in Samoa, but they're very against it. They're very against it.
What does that stem from? Is that
it stems from, you know, there's massive police raids to Fale all the time, and it's, you know, and they pull out these plants and they take photos of all these plants and they're like, yes, we seized all this marijuana. But, you know, like for me, I'll be like, well, the fuck is that? Like, it does nothing. I support it. I support the legalization of marijuana for tourism, for medicinal purposes.
Yeah.
But the argument is that what do you call it? Yeah, that they just really against marijuana. What was the other thing? The whole gateway, but no.
Oh, was it a gateway to other?
Was that argument like marijuana is a gateway drug to harder?
Okay, so there are negative effects, right? You know,
of course,
the psychotic stuff. You know, you do too much, like anything, right? Moderation. Hamburgers can be dangerous. You eat too much. You know what I mean? So, and this is why the casino was only for overseas people, because there was a big movement. Oh, we got to protect the locals from the adverse effects of gambling and the poverty and all of that it creates. So they made it so only overseas passport holders can go into the casino. So this was the same, that they were trying to find a way that only marijuana could be for overseas people in that. Because, yeah, you're right. Like,
hey, tourist, man.
Yeah. Like, we run a tourist spot, and that's what we got a lot of. We were asked a lot of, do you have any joints? Do you have any marijuana?
These
just
are from internationals?
Yeah. Right. Tourists, like, every day. Because, man, you got the beach, you got the sun, you got your pina colada, you just want the spliff. You know what I mean? To go with it. And there are suppliers over there.
I know.
You know, people can get it, but but it is still criminalized. It's still seen as massively a bad thing. It's still like abortion over there is fucking really bad. Like no one supports it, and so
that sounds to me like that's more of a Western kind of old American kind of attitude, eh? Like 60s, 70s, where they used to go, you smoke weed, you're gonna go straight to hell and you're gonna burn, and that it's like there's a bit of that attitude towards it, eh?
Yeah, it is, man. But there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it over there.
Marijuana is the herb.
Yeah, I think it's just a plant.
Yeah, it's a herb, right? And in the Bible, it says herbs are good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet, everyone's against it.
Right.
Where's the
And
logic behind
you
this?
see with the legalization in America, like there are New Zealanders who own a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
Who are owning the supply in America, who are fucking multi-millionaires.
Yeah.
Like, I reckon we could own this shit as well. Like,
Imagine if we had a Samoan strand and they came
bro, exactly, organic.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of the strands overseas are fucking
strong.
yeah, but they're all being fucked up. They're all synthetic.
Yeah.
You know,
adding
like
their
they're
own-
not organic. Like Samoa could produce their own organic, owned by Samoa. You know, you could export it.
Yep.
But then there's all this opportunity. But yeah, I'm for it. I'm for
Okay.
it because I reckon I could have made $1,000 a week with the amount of tourists asking for it, man.
Okay. Cool. That means my
That's a
tourism
very
idea is
specific
good.
amount.
And we got to differentiate ourselves from Fiji, Cook Islands, all the Pacific places have beautiful beaches, beautiful sun, you know, beautiful surf, beautiful hot weather. What is the difference? Like, we need a point of differentiation. Like, there's got to be something that we can offer that they don't. And if we're the first one to legalize it for tourists,
Mate.
you know, like you capture a big market. It's massive in Hawaii too, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my idea. I think I got a pass. Yeah, I just saw it as like, another, and to that point as well, like the Pacific's beautiful everywhere you travel. What is the difference factor of traveling to Raro versus Hawaii? Like, how do you see, like, because I know that there's a lot more festivals now going across the Pacific.
Yes.
So that's one way, you know, they capitalize on that and bring other tourists in. You know, but what's another way that Samoa could potentially stand out? I always thought, like, if there was a part of Sava'i maybe, or just a secluded, privatized part.
Fale IQ, instead of, because they do it fucking every year, they do a massive raid of that village, David Tua's village.
Yeah.
Instead of fucking arresting them all the time and cutting down, and because they go in with guns and kill people as well. Like, why don't you make that the company? You know, give them shares in their own company and they can start it up. They're obviously good growers.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It
like
depends every
use
year.
what they're good at and let them lead it. And then they can export to New Zealand there. But I think the reason why it's outlawed, it'll be if Max Key comes in and says that he can do it, you know, give us a license, he'll get the license to do it. Be fucking, because it's Samoan owned, that's probably why they're shutting it down. As soon as a Bailangi comes in and asks for a license to do it.
Well, when Plus 64 kicks off, we've got a business venture, boys.
I think
Go
there
get
is
to LA.
licenses. I think there are licenses for it. I need to check. Yeah,
But
there
medicinal use only. Yeah?
Yes,
Yeah,
medicinal.
All right. What are your ideas, boys? What do you got?
Strip clubs.
I heard a strip club from
Male strip clubs.
I heard a strip club. I heard a strip club from the side of the room.
I don't mean strip club.
Oh, what do you mean?
I mean, I have a lot of massage parlors.
Massage parlors. Happy endings.
A for four parlor.
What? Happy ending?
Oh,
I don't
bro.
understand what you're talking about.
It's a rugby trip to Thailand.
No other.
Oh, just increase your prices, man.
Samoa?
It's a lot now.
As expensive as it is.
Yeah.
Increase your prices, and then the government gives subsidies to those villages in return.
Oh, as soon as you said government, it just nah. You have like everything gotta be like village led. You
Fine.
can't.
You know what?
can't rely
Fracking.
on it.
Why don't you introduce fracking into Samoa? Then?
And oil drilling.
Yeah, oil
offshore.
drilling offshore. No, but,
Money over everything.
Okay, well, for real though, maybe like tourism. I mean, all I can think of is the impact of tourism, like
Yeah,
the
the
negative impact
messiness.
of tourism.
Yeah.
Like whether Samoa can deal with it. Like I don't know whether there's initiatives to lower or to make things cheaper for locals to run things.
True.
Like I was thinking that way, like maybe, I don't know whether that be, you know, transport pricing, whatever it is. But, you know, a way of reducing costs so then they can operate at a lower margin.
Yeah.
And then still offer, you know, that kind of authentic experience without it turning into Bali.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
Like that's the other thing. It's just, you know, I'm thinking that way, like how can we, you know, maybe to subtract from it, not add to it, but to subtract from what's already there. Because people do enjoy going to Samoa. You know, they talk about Sava'i being, you know, untouched to a certain extent. And in order for things to remain like that, you know, I don't know whether you can add anything to it without destroying it.
Good point.
How can we, within the economy that they have there already?
So it's like building like an infrastructure to support whatever that.
Because if we introduce a lot more tourism, I'm not sure. I mean, this is just from the outside looking in. I'm not sure if Samoa's prepared for that. Like the influx, say, like if marijuana were to be, decriminalized or whatever, I don't know if Samoa can deal with it. Like the impacts of that going on. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd only introduce it if it benefits the locals first. It's
Like-
I've seen what's happened in Hawaii, and as long as they're controlling it, like I like the idea that Fale looks after, like all good.
Yeah, like say for example, if there was a subsidy on transporting produce, from like between like tourist spots, for example, or going to tourist spots, that might help families be like, okay, I know that I can get X amount of money, and I know that I can get my X produce to a tourist spot for less, rather than spending just as much on petrol, cars, and stuff like that. So something like that to help reinforce that infrastructure. And so if we can make it cost effective for locals, in turn, whether that be the margin, they might spend less. So it might be, I don't know, instead of $10 profit, they might end up with like $13 or $14 because, there's a subsidy for transporting their goods for tourism, for example. That was just my thought. But.
No, you're
never happen.
no,
No, because naturally tourism always drives up prices for everything.
Right.
Just the more you want lots of tourism, that shit comes with it. Yeah, inflation will come with it. Increase demand, increase price.
So CPI, is it? 7% each year? Is that what they're increasing everything by?
And so when I left Samoa, what was that, 4 years ago, a price for new was 2 tala. Nice new. And now it's like over 5 everywhere.
God damn.
And you'll be lucky to find them below 7. So it's gone up. It's gone up a lot. So yeah, I think the main thing you want though is ownership of the tourism. When Max Key came in and had a meeting with Fuimaono about, I have this business proposal where we can make lots of money from tourism. He will come in to own, that venture. TAIMI Stamps is owned from foreigners, by foreigners, sorry. So you lose a lot of money. Remember, there was a saying from the African politician, sorry, I forgot his name, in the 70s, he said it. Be careful for independence days. They will leave as colonizers and come back as investors. Okay, so they can invest and own everything in your country and take all of the profit from it, and just leave your people with a minimum wage. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful with tourism. I think it's great, obviously, more money, but it has to be owned by Samoans, run by Samoans, and not by the government. Like, the villages, like Lalumanu they own Lalumanu, and that makes shitloads every day, So it has to be that. It's got to be led by the villages. And then even the marijuana, that could be something proposed through the villages, and then they go and put pressure on the government, if they can see the benefit. And I'm sure they can, because we have accommodation. We hear it a lot from tourists. I know they hear it a lot from tourists. Got a joint,
We love Bob Marley so much in Samoa. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Any thoughts to add to our tourism chat? Any initiatives that you guys we can visit us in the future, but
Tourism.
no?
What about just sports?
Yeah,
Like
sports,
Kirikiti, volleyball.
festivals.
I don't recognize them.
Them. But even even like comps and stuff like that, like people always mention, having the sevens and things like that.
Yeah. Why not bring that back?
Well, you could probably do a smaller scale one for like Kirikiti.
Yeah.
Even like volleyball, I think would.
There are a lot. There's volleyball tournaments. There's netball tournaments. You see the Auckland Samoans go over. Wellington will send a team. Australia always sends a team. They are doing the sports ones. Tag. There's been a tag festival for tag Te comp that's just finished today. Basketball,
right.
and it's overseas. Yeah. So I saw the photos from the New Zealand Auckland team taking a team over. Yeah, like they are doing all of that, and it's good. It's not at a massive scale at the moment, which is probably good. It's probably good. I think Samoa's at a good place at the moment with tourism.
Yeah.
Like no one's being too greedy, and but you know, I think they're third.
There's someone being greedy.
Oh yeah,
Who's that? Government.
hard. But I think it's the fourth most popular. Maybe I think Cook Islands is ahead, Fiji and maybe Hawaii. Yeah, but that's a hard market. That's very hard. So
Yeah.
I mean, to still be attracting lots of tourists is great. That's good by Samoa.
Unless it's like Chogam, for example.
Chogam, yeah, that's a big one.
You know, bringing in those, you know, the people that are coming for that, obviously the money side of things, you know, how much they hold.
Yes.
Like it's not your average tourist.
Right.
So it could be those initiatives like starting to host world government events.
Anything.
Because then you start to attract a certain type of tourist. And if they like it, then they're obviously going to bring their money and their family.
Samoa's beautiful, and it's an awesome place to tour. I did a seminar for the Samoan Law Society there, and they invited lots of New Zealand lawyers, you know, so there's many things that they're doing that's inviting heaps of overseas tourism and that, so...
In a good space?
Yeah, I think it's at a good space at the moment.
You think we just need to own...
Because like you said, the infrastructure is massive. It has to grow with the tourism. If it grows too much, then you demand land. You know, you demand more water. You demand fucking more food, which means more planting. And, you know, you got to be careful because that's what's happening in Bali, and they're having issues with the rice fields, and the local villages now can't afford to even produce rice now. So I think at the moment it's all good. And got to be careful because then when you need more land for more hotels or another golf course, when you need that shit, then you start, okay, we need to fucking open up customary land. We need to start pushing that into freehold. And that's when we get into that's when we get into the intergenerational death of Samoa, landlessness, homelessness on our own land. So I think at the moment it's not too demanding, and it's probably a good place to keep it at.
See, that's why gatekeeping is good.
Yeah, gatekeeping and not chasing the dollar, like chasing survival, chasing enough. Oh.
I'm going to take my idea to Tonga then.
That's a good idea. It's a good idea.
All right. Well, sticking to Samoa, the Savati boys, shout out to the Savati boys.
Yo.
Posted a really cool article that I thought would kind of unpack and explore here. And it's evidence of pre-colonial civilizations in Samoa. A network of ruins detected via laser mapping beneath the area by the Pulemei star mound in Savati. Experts believe it is evidence of an entire pre-colonial settlement that flourished before European settlement in 1722. So if you go to their page on Facebook, it's them Savati boys, Facebook or Instagram. They've just got some articles that they've put together. But your thoughts on the mounds, bro?
No, yeah, it's cool. It's just funny colonizers say it was a pre-colonial settlement that flourished. It's like, fuck, did they think they were like fucking like these fucking troglodytes? Fuck, we know that we were flourishing, you know, for fucking thousands of years, man. We had technology that they didn't have. They were still in caves or we were navigating the seas. Like for them to say, oh, we found that you guys were flourishing, we know. So I don't need them to tell me. And I read someone's comment like, it's an insult to have foreigners come and dig up your fucking land and tell you how you used to fucking live. This is fucking insulting. Like, I know we were brilliant. We are brilliant. I've always known that. Don't need those fucking troglodytes to come over with their LiDAR and shit. But it's nice that they found it. That was really cool. Nah, but yeah.
No, I reckon they forgot to look at the other 300 mounds.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. And you brought that up earlier. There's a lot of mounds in Samoa. So there's about 300. They with the same technology, they used LiDAR and found 80 in Alepata, which is on Upolu. And that's down the back end.
Gua.
Yeah, southwest.
Southwest.
Yeah, southwest side of Samoa, of Upolu.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's heaps. There's heaps in American Samoa as well. So, yeah, I don't know why this one gets a lot. Maybe because it's one of the biggest. But it was an interesting story behind that one is the Nelson family. The Nelson family own that, and there's been massive lawsuits going up to the Court of Appeal because the village of Palauli, sorry, that's the district, right? Wailoa is saying that they acquired that land illegally. Okay, so it was stolen. It was a illegal alienation of their customary land during the German regime in 1886, I think, is when the transaction might have taken place. Right, so they're saying they stole the land. It was bought by a dude named Frank Wilson, sold to the Moors, then sold to Nelson. And Nelson, August Nelson, is the father of Olaf Nelson, who is the mole dude. You know, it's, bro, hey, you got to watch out for that. Yeah, you know, when he gets told in the mole stories, you got to be careful with this dude. So even in 2020, they had a GoFundMe page. The village of Wailoa had a GoFundMe and, an online petition to stop the Nelson Housing Limited, because I think they're going to subdivide that land, or they were planning to build houses. And so the village of Wailoa and their chief said, no, that's still our land. You know, because the Court of Appeal in 2008 ruled that, no, the Samoan government gave validity to the German regime, therefore that transaction is okay, is valid. How fucked up is that? This is what the Court of Appeal said. Yeah. You know, how can they say that, yes, that the Samoan government supported the German regime, you know, who colonized Samoa before New Zealand did, therefore the transaction that took away the land from the village is okay. Bro, no colonization is valid. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, fucking hell. So that was in 2008, Court of Appeal. And so even though they said that, what happened after that was the village of Wailoa warned Nelson Limited, don't bring any of your fucking men to work here or else you're going to get it. Because remember, you can own the title and all of that shit. But if you don't have the fucking numbers to back it up on the land where they live, they're living on the land, don't mean shit. You know, you can rock up with your survey and then get killed. Fuck. Yeah, so they gave a warning to the Nelsons.
So before it got to the Nelsons,
it was the Moors.
No, the Bishop Cornwall that held half of Savai'i.
Cornwall owned more than Savai'i.
That's what he said.
So Frank Cornwall.
Yeah. Is it Cornwall and not Wilson? Maybe they got the name right.
It's Cornwall.
Yes.
Because it had a part of a show all the way down to... So, yeah, I'm just trying to...
Yep.
I just realized that Cornwall was the one that took... I don't know if it's legal, but took half
Did the Moors get it from Cornwall? Well, that's even worse, because all of his land claims were fucking thrown in the bin. Yeah. Because he said he owned like X amount of land, and that turned out to be more than the actual land there. Yeah. So he said he owned more than Savai'i.
Parts of the ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why all of that stuff, all of those land claims were thrown in the bin, except for this one. And you know who the Nelsons are, eh? Nelsons are the big dogs. That's Misa Telefoni Retzlaff. And I remember going down to the Turnbull Library, Alexander Turnbull Library in Wellington to do research, because all of the archives are there. When the Germans were there, they had all their written evidence or whatever, journals and everything. And it was all taken, when New Zealand took over, they took all the German records and brought it to New Zealand and put it in the library down there. And so there's been a lot of dudes who have gone down and translated from German to English or from German to Samoan. So I went down to have a look, and you can't get into any Nelson stuff. I've been clicking private Nelson, and yeah. True. So, because I was chasing pyramids, you know, when you're young, pyramids in Samoa, damn. Yeah. And yeah. So now I know, when I was reading that stuff, when you sent it through, I had a search last night. No wonder why, like, I went there a few times and was like, nah, close. Because, there's massive fights about it. But the mound itself, that's why it was cool to see them go there. Because it's hard to get there sometimes.
Tony and that, eh?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts of, like, what are the mounds? What do they represent?
So they call them star mounds because of the shape.
Yeah.
You know, because it looks like stars. It's not, but, you know, people in there to look at the stars. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think, you know, they say a lot about, a lot of them are named after pigeons and traps and nets. So I think it's more to do with that. Maybe I think they had practical use. Everything had a practical use.
Right.
It's filter water because you see there's a stream that comes out.
Right.
There's three stream on the connected to the mounds in below. So
Water filters.
well, that's what I see it. It's like filters where you get water, clean water. Yeah, but then that same mound is where some people say it's almost like the gateway to Pulotu.
Oh, the underworld. Here we go.
Yeah,
Let's go there. Let's go there.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Next one.
yeah.
Next
Yeah,
one.
no. There's a lot of them all over the place. I don't think it's what people think it is. Like, trying to find those really cool things about it. It could have been like a foundation for a house.
yeah.
I
Or
just-
it could be a graveyard.
But I think what made this one big is that they went under the mound.
Right.
Right. They were scanning under the mound and they found like earth ovens,
Almost.
which is like umu or hangi.
Yeah,
If it's under the earth. They found pathways. So I think there was a lot more happening there at that time. And right across in Upolu is Muli Whanua, pretty much facing it. And that's where they found the 4,000 shards of lapita pottery. So it's right on the other side facing, and that has been dated to like, 1,000 BC, 1,500 BC.
Whoa.
So that's like 3,000, 4,000 years ago. So, I mean, clearly there was a lot going on at that time.
Yeah.
There's another big star mound on Manono, I think, which is in between that. You got Apolima, Manono, Muli Whanua one side, and Palauli, Vailoa on Sava'i facing each other. Muli Whanua, by the way, is the original name of Northland, is Muli Whanua as well. So Muli Whenua, Northland here in New Zealand. So,
Oh, true.
yo.
Any sacred geometry?
Yeah, bro, there's definitely a connection, man.
Any mathematics?
Yeah, so
What they say?
Muli meaning people always say bum. No, it's got a lot of meanings, soil, dark soil, it's got heaps. Whenua being land. Yeah. And so I think there's a connection there to Northland. There's heaps. So there's heaps of connections. If you look deep and you connect it all together, yeah, of course. If you look at the LiDAR and then go, oh, there must have been a bustling civilization here 1,000 years or 3,000 years ago because they've dated it. And then you use the shards, the lapita pottery, which is made of clay and from Melanesia, so you put all that together, which is at the same time. Yeah, there's a lot going on there, man. But we always knew that. That's why we're the greatest navigators to ever exist. We had technology and shit well before anyone else. We were doing all these sciences well before anyone else. Nephology, the study of clouds. We were studying clouds way before anyone else. That science started in the 1800s. Fuck, we were doing that shit. Our navigators doing that 4,000 years ago, thousands of years ago. And these are new sciences. The study of the wind. What's that? Anemology. We were studying the wind. That again was early 1800s, right? We had these great navigators who were studying the wind, learning by flying kites. Like we were fucking doing all this shit before anyone else. And again, tell all that before these fucking foreigners come in and they start telling you other shit that they think that we were doing. But you LiDAR everywhere now, you'll find something.
I just wanted a cool sky beam, man. I wanted all the mounds to connect, send it up to the
Is it
sky.
not a network or something? Like, is it not?
Yeah, hard out, eh?
That's what I
And they
want.
line with the Orion belt. Those ones, eh? They all point to magnetic north. Oh, fuck. Bro.
And it's all the Illuminati,
The Rockefellers, eh? The fucking Rockefellers.
Rothschilds.
Those rocks.
Yeah, so this year, as a part of Plus 64, we've been working on a short film, which is a part of our Day One initiative, which is to support young filmmakers. So I was fortunate to work with some young directors, Albert Latai-Lakepa and Sean Rivera, a Filipino and a Tongan Samoan director. And I was a producer, and we also had Junior and Tama help out on the side as well, as Plus 64, as our production company. And so we created a short film called Yeah Pare, Pare meaning buddy in Filipino, Tagalog. But it's a short story about a Filipino kid who gets lost in the Auckland night markets.
Oh, I didn't know it was Filipino. Oh,
Yeah. and he has to seek guidance from a young Samoan boy that works there to find his mom. So this short film is now available on YouTube, but it's a children's short film, and also you got kids, so I thought I'd get you to watch it and have a breakdown of it. But what were your thoughts, bro?
Oh no, man! My kids loved it. Like they loved the gaming aspect. They are like the twins, but no, they really enjoyed it. And I, excuse me, I asked him, so do you get any themes about it? And Junior was like, gaming, and I was like, can you expand it? Oh, maybe their time in the night markets is like a game. It's fun. I was like, hey, that's a nice one. I didn't think of that. But no, I loved it, bro. I loved it, and I loved that there was it was like an adventure for the two boys, and they're meeting different characters along the way.
Yeah,
you know what it is. So no, it was awesome, bro. Wow, look, I thought it was the Otahu night market. So
yeah, we had to film in 3 different night markets because we had to shoot to a 3-day schedule. So if you've traveled to Auckland and if you ventured into the night markets, they are situated everywhere every night, so they change, and so we had to like match the calendar of the night market vendors and the people that work there. What were some of the themes that you thought were in it, bro?
yeah, no, when you said the gaming one, I thought that was it. The gaming one, but like, I love the night markets. I love going to the night markets, like the smell. So when I watched it, I could smell that movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, bro, I got hungry and I was like, oh, I love the night markets. There's companionship, friendship, being brave.
It's interesting you brought up the twins. So that role was supposed to be played by one, but I don't know if we should say this here, but I suggested to the boys because they had the idea of, we should have this character that steals from them. And then I was like, let's make it a Palangi kid.
Yes. Oh, that's why I was like, oh, this is weird.
But a funny story is
Agendas.
of course, man.
Agendas,
Come on.
gosh.
We're so used to being the bad guy on all of New Zealand shit. Fuck, why can't we just have one for ourselves? But it's funny because we put the casting notice out there, and so one mom came in with her Palangi child. They came from an acting agency. She read the script, he auditioned, and then he got the role, went home, and then she sent me an email, was like, oh no, he's actually busy and da-da-da. Because she knew what we were trying to do, and it's like, just let us have one, man. So fortunately, we got the twins, and the parents knew what was up. They were like, yeah, all good. Kids could be kids.
Yeah. Oh, what do you mean she knew that you were trying to do?
She knew that we were framing kind of like Palangi as the bad.
Oh.
That's what she kind of saw the intent.
Oh. I didn't even see it that way.
And I found that quite interesting because on the other foot, you'll see a lot of Samoans or Tongans or even Māoris jump at the opportunity to jump in anything. And it will contribute to the story. Not that it was purposely like we're trying to say, white people are evil. It's like, this would look different if Palangi kids did it. Because typically...
Bro, I didn't even see it that way. I swear, I did not see it as Palangis were evil. I just thought it as those two little
evil.
shits. I just thought, you two little shits.
Not evil, just two
Not
little
even that grammar.
No, but because I've seen so many Palangis be little shits, I'll be like, fuck those two little shits. I didn't think it was like, oh, white people are bad. I just thought, those two little...
Maybe I should reframe my words before,
yeah.
before I get cancelled. But yeah, no, it was kind of like shoes on the other foot. Because typically in New Zealand, we get given the reverse roles.
Yes.
So it's like, it would be nice for once if we had the two leads, brown as hell, and the other side, that was pretty much the intent. But yeah, that was a cool experience. I got to produce that. So shout out to Albert and Sean. For any young filmmakers hearing this Day One initiatives, jump on Instagram if you want to make a short film, get your own voices out there. Day One is a really cool program that we're really kind of privileged to be a part of. And also, it was kind of our first kind of official production outside of the podcast. So it was really cool. And that's been prominent on our Instagram, not so much our TikTok or Facebook page. But yeah, it's kind of our venture forward with +64 as we kind of create more content alongside the podcast going forward.
That's awesome, bro.
And to end on today's podcast, episode 40, we just wanted to highlight the new Māori Queen. And that's been big news here in New Zealand. Her name is Queenie Ngā Wai Hone I Te Pō. She's the youngest of the Māori king that has recently passed away. What did you think about the ceremony? Man, that was epic.
It
like
was
watching
epic, yeah.
the side of the mountain and everyone doing the haka. It looked
Yes.
like
Toya
Wakanda
mai.
forever.
Yeah, hard
Everyone
up.
on the side of the mountain doing a
Yes.
haka. Your thoughts on this whole scenario?
No, it's been massive for them, massive. But you also see the vultures flying around. Like,
Yep.
you know, I saw Chloe there. I saw Helen Clark there. You know, as much as this is an opportunity for Māori and especially the Tainui and the Waikato region, it's a big opportunity for colonizers as well, because this is a young leader coming in. I wouldn't say naive, but she'll definitely be new to the role and not have the experience. So colonizers will also see this as an opportunity to push their agendas, as they do with everything. So, because Tainui is worth about $3 billion.
Yeah, man.
They're massive. And that was from a settlement that was only $170 million, which was less than 1% of what was taken from them. So they had over 1.2 million acres stolen from them by the government. So, and they only got like 170 million in settlement, but they've turned it into nearly 3 billion.
Good on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on them. And their portfolio includes like fisheries, forestry, bloody everything, man. They got infrastructure, farming,
Yeah.
you know. And
I think they got their own mall as well. If you travel to Hamilton,
Hey.
they've got like this gigantic mall. You know, my
awesome.
mate was telling him about it. Like, this is all owned by Māori.
Right.
Like me.
And they employ Māori, you know, they have, I think, 9,000 registered members,
Yeah.
you know, in the Tainui and that. So they're very prominent. But they have now a young leader who, even though she's been around it, being in it is a bit different, is a lot different.
Yeah.
You know, and she's going to be under a lot of pressure, you know, because colonizers come in with all sorts of agendas, with ways of twisting money, all of that shit. So that's what I was watching. And it was interesting hearing like Helen Clark and them speak. You know, you got to be careful, because if they like someone, you know, it's not really a compliment, you know, if all the Palangis like you.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, they say, oh, we're looking for a calm leader. We're looking for, you know, they're looking for someone who
They can control.
yeah, they're looking for someone who they can control. So watch the media, watch how the media portray her and portray Tainui. But, you know, it in times of war and that, when you're fighting enemies and that, it's very important you stay unified in that. But in times where the colonizer tells you and your people what to do, it's very important that you stay different, okay? And you allow for different voices, you allow for different people to share their opinions, but you allow for different actions and not necessarily all working together. You know, nature does it with genetic variation. You know, every generation born is different, genetically different. So the species survives. If something wipes out one type of gene, at least the species survives, you know? So, you know, they got to still encourage unity, but part of being unified is there are times where we must be diverse and we must be different in order for our species to survive. And it's just a new time. It's a new birth for her, but also, you know, she's got to learn to deal with these dudes. Fucking government and agendas. Because when I saw Chloe there, I was like, oh, bro. When I saw the Greens Party there, after all that shit that they've done to Māori women in the last month, fuck. Like, it's great opportunity for Tainui and that, but great opportunity for
everyone else.
Yes, for the
especially
enemy
the
as well.
vultures.
Yes, for enemies as well. And they have a lot at stake. They have a lot of assets, nearly 3 billion.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So that's why it's good that you hear Ngā Puhi say, yes, we respect the king. We'll be there to pay our regards, but we do not come under them. You know, that's not our monarch. That's got nothing to do with us. And that's important. In times of war and that, where you're unified against an enemy, yeah, be together. But there are times where the colonizer will say, inject all of this into all your people. That's really important, where you go, whoa, you guys can do it. We won't. You know, just in case.
Yeah.
You know, so, no, it's cool. That's what I took from it anyway.
Yeah, I think you talked about the media, and the portrayal has been it's been pretty good because a lot of the coverage has been significantly enough by Māori women, Māori reporters, which is really cool. Because they get the names right, firstly, but they kind of.
They were brilliant.
They were also
that team of 4 on One Network News was fucking brilliant.
Their coverage was amazing. And then I got to learn a lot more about her through that coverage, was that she's got a master's in arts.
Yes.
Very well studied.
Yeah. Awesome.
Heavy in kapahaka.
Yes.
Heavy in that. And I'm like, cool. And she's super fluent. Fluent in the language. And so aesthetically, just from apart, I'm like, cool, because you see the amount of women that were there, we've got one for us. I thought that was important. However, I started to think about the pressure of what that looks like, and I only hope that her brothers surround her uncles and aunties.
A team. She's got to build a team.
Yeah, she has to have a good support. Like we were talking about the Miss Samoa earlier. Like you've got your person in front, but you need that support system around to help carry her forward.
Right. And they got to be close, people you trust, right? People you trust and people who are really good at their shit, you know? So, I hope she builds a strong team. Like, no one person can do everything, but everybody can do something.
Yeah.
And just build that team. But Māori are great at building teams out there. Once we're warriors, still are warriors, always will be warriors. So I think they will build. And you see what Tainui have done? They're built. They're built like they're good at this shit. So but on those reporters, bro, they were awesome, man. Like how they went to the aunties sitting on the hill.
Oh man,
really it wasn't just dignitaries and all that shit.
No, they went to the people.
Yeah, bro. And I love that coverage.
Well, that's us for another week. And thank you. Congrats, guys, on episode 40. And we'll see you next week.